find out more about the Lincolnshire Southeast Sports Partnership. Rupert is on to tell us more. So, Rupert, how long's this been on the go? Tell us more about it, please.
Oh, hi, good evening. Yeah, so School Games has been around since sort of London 2012, actually. It was part of the sort of big legacy that, if you remember back in those days when Zeb Coe and those guys were setting up the Olympics, it was really built on the back of this long-lasting legacy that it was going to go beyond the London Olympics and we were going to have this real big impact on our next generation of children. So it's been going around since 2012.
And is this your baby? Did you come up with the idea? Tell me more about how you got involved.
Oh gosh, no, it's a big national program. So the whole country is split up into different school sports partnerships. So there's 452, I think. So there's 8 of us in Lincolnshire. So Lincolnshire is split up into different regions. So my area is right down the bottom round Spalding, Bourne, Deeping, Holbeach, Long Sutton, and all the villages around there. But there's different school games organisers looking after every bit of the country. So every school, primary and secondary, state and private, has a school games organiser associated with it, and we're just trying to get more children physically active and competing in school sport.
I guess something like this, I mean, important anytime, but nowadays when we see, let's face it, TikTok
Yeah.
and iPads and YouTube, getting the kids up off the sofa, out of their bedrooms, doing this kind of thing, is so important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and we're well aware that there's massive challenges, and the data that comes back from Sport England and different bodies is very worrying about the state of young people's physical and mental health at the moment. So it's really important that we're all trying to get kids physically active. The government's guidance and the health officers' guidance is absolutely clear that all young people should be getting 60 minutes of physical activity every day. 30 minutes of that should be in school time. So that's what a big part of our job is. We're trying to find ways for schools to keep all children active, inside and outside school.
And having said that, I bet you'd also meet some children that they can't get enough of it. They're active, and you think they're never going to fall asleep.
Absolutely, absolutely. They do see, yeah. There's very clear camps that children fall into. In sort of our experience, we've got about a quarter of young people that massive sport billies, and they're in every team that school runs, and then they're whisked off to swimming, and they're whisked off to gymnastics, and they're doing loads and loads. And then at the other end, we've got about a quarter of young people that do absolutely virtually zero physical activity. So we're really aware of that difference, and we really try and target school games towards the least active, or children where there are really big barriers, but preventing them being able to take part and get involved.
And for you must love sport to do something like this. You could go off and play in a team, play whatever you wanted to play, but no, you want to do this and help young people out that. So clearly something that you're really, really passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. Sport's been a massive part of my life, and I know how much you can get from sport, whether it's an individual sport or a team game. But and we really think that every young person should have the ability to get involved in that and be encouraged as much as they can. I mean, it's not for everybody, but we're trying really hard to find some way in for as many young people as possible.
And when we say school games, let's open that up a bit more. Is it every sport that you could possibly think of?
Pretty much. So if you want to find out more, I mean, I'd really it's great to get on the air with you, because we really want to try and spread the word. But people can find out more online if they go to www.yourschoolgames.com, and there's loads of information there about what school games is all about. In terms of events that we run and sports that we try and get children involved with, it's pretty much everything, so long as it's sort of age relevant and it's safe and appropriate. Yeah, a huge amount. So looking at our calendar this year, we've got straight after half term, we've got a big cross country event. Then we've got things like we've got tag rugby, We've got sports hall athletics. We've got some different events for special needs pupils. So we've got things like boccia, which is like a type of bowls game. We've got kinball coming in this year, which is a really exciting new game that we hope will really attract some children that haven't found anything to excite them. It's played in a sports hall with an enormous inflatable ball, and teams trying to keep the ball in the air. Essentially, it's a really, really fun new game that probably no one's ever heard of before. And that's a good example. We're working with a charity on that called the Junior Sports Programme that works across Lincolnshire. I don't know if you've heard of them before. They're based in Sleaford. Really lovely little charity, and they're providing us with all the equipment for that. So that's a good example of how we work with different bodies to try and find new ways to engage children.
And like you say, to come on with us, that's great. Get the word out there. Social media is very good at it these days. Do you find that when you're telling people about this, people still say, oh, I didn't know that was a thing, or I didn't know that we could have that in our school?
Definitely. I mean, I speak for the 8 of us across Lincolnshire. We're constantly in touch with schools, talking to schools, and a lot of schools are heavily involved with this. Some are harder to reach. I think there's still a bit of confusion about who we are. Are we another sports company just trying to muscle in on them? I think there's some misunderstanding in some areas that we are a free non-for-profit organisation. We're government funded. We're all employed 3 days a week by down from sports lottery money, national lottery money. But I think the message doesn't necessarily get back home to parents. So we're really keen to spread the word a bit wider, and get more schools involved.
Let's talk more about it. There's more to chat about, so stay there. Some In Vogue to play, and then back with Rupert straight after this.
Trophies, medals, winning. We love it. But sport is so much more than that.
It's unleashing potential.
Making people smile.
Healthy body, healthy mind.
Through boxing, running,
swimming,
whatever it may be.
It's priceless. And that's
why we do
what we do.
At community sports clubs all over the country, there are amazing volunteers. Let's celebrate them. Nominate your unsung hero. Go to bbc.co.uk/unsung hero. Nominations close on Sunday, the 30th of October.
Time for a breakdown.
Never gonna get it, 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 never gonna get it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
To hear that again, it's En Vogue. My love in this is In the Game. It's BBC Radio Lincolnshire, all about sport in schools. This evening, the Lincolnshire Schools Partnership, and this is the South East Sports Partnership. Rupert is on telling us more about it. So Rupert, tell us an average day for you. I'm guessing you go into schools and you do this kind of thing. So what's a typical kind of day for you doing it?
Gosh, well, it's quite varied. We do sort of stick our fingers in lots of pies, but sort of a typical week will have one big event in it. So I think we've got a Year 3-4 tag festival coming up shortly, and we're asking schools to send along Year 3-4s that haven't really found their place in sport, and perhaps want to try something new. So we don't want kids that already play lots of rugby. We're looking for children that aren't quite there yet. So I'll have been working with secondary schools, training up some of their sports leaders, so some of their older pupils that are really keen on sport and want to get involved in volunteering and leadership. And I've been working with them and their teachers, getting them ready for that day. And then on the day, we've got a couple of hundred Year 3-4s turn up we try and do as many as we can at an appropriate club rather than a school, so they get a real taste of what it's like at a club. So they'll come along to, say, Spalding Rugby Club, and they'll be met by all these sports leaders that we'll have been working with in the preceding weeks. And they'll have a day where those secondary school leaders run a small group of children through some coaching, teach them basically how to play tag rugby, and then we'll have a nice big picnic lunch all together. And in the afternoon, we'll have a few matches, so they get to experience some games. And then we'll have a nice closing ceremony at the end and pat everyone on the back. And the kids go back to school happy, hopefully having a real positive experience of playing some sport. They've had a really active day. And if they then choose to, get involved in some rugby and go back to Spalding Rugby Club or whichever rugby club is close to them, then fantastic. Or they might just have a bit of a taste of sport and want to try something else. So a lot of the time we're sort of, these events are a bit of an iceberg. A lot of the unseen work is, in the preceding week. So typical weeks, I'm getting ready for the next couple of events. I'm out training sports leaders, and then sort of all the admin around getting the right kids to the event at the right place and the right time.
Fantastic.
Other things we're doing.
Sorry. Yeah, go on, carry on. Love it. Go on.
I mean, otherwise, we're doing a lot of work, particularly with primary schools, just trying to upskill primary school teachers. So we're in primary schools. Particularly working with their PE coordinators or their subject leaders, and trying to help them work in school, using their sports premium money effectively to try and make as big an impact as possible on young people.
And you always want children to go home at the end of a day at school, mums and dads and grandparents and aunties and uncles and whatnot can say, oh, what did you do today? And they say, oh, I did, rather than just, oh, it's boring. I bet the kids go home from this and they say, oh, well, Mr. Gibson came in today and we did this and we went here and we played this and I can't wait to do it again.
That's absolutely that's absolutely where we're trying to go with this, and really trying to get a mindset away from, the last thing. What we want, here's my message to all your listeners out there. If your kid comes home from school and they've done the sporting event, please don't make the first question that comes out of your mouth, did you win? Because let's say they've been to an event and there were 50 teams there. That means there's going to be one team that won and happy days, but then there's going to be 49 teams that lost. So we're really trying to sort of educate around that and say, first question when they come through the door, did you have fun? Did you try your hardest? What did you learn today? What could you improve on? Were your teachers proud of you today? What was the highlight of your day? Obviously, if you won, fabulous. But try and make that a question a little bit further down the line.
Oh, it's so true, and just hearing you say that, it really does make you think, because it is the thing that you naturally come out with. But yeah, just
same as a parent, it's really, you've got to bite your tongue.
Yeah, definitely. Well, absolutely great work you're doing. For parents that are listening to this and they're thinking, well, is this happening in my children's school? This is in most Lincolnshire schools, is it?
This is open to every school in the country. Absolutely every setting, private, state, primary, special schools, every school can access school games. You've all got a school games organiser that works for you 3 days a week. So whether you're up in Lincolnshire and Gainsborough or in City of Lincoln, there's people like me. We've got Ricky Pledger in Lincoln, Callum Woods in Lincoln. If you're around the Sleaford area, Matthew Strange, there's 8 of us. We look after, between us, every school in Lincolnshire.
And you do a great job of it. I'm pleased that we can help you get the word out there. Stay in touch with us. We're always here. We often do these things as a one-off, but something you want to shout about, something big that's coming up, somebody you want to give a mention and a thank you to. Seriously, get in touch with us. We'll get you back on. It's no bother.
That would be great. Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries at all. Rupert, thank you ever so much. There you go, Rupert Gibson from Lincolnshire South East Sports Partnership, doing a top job. And like I say, if it's sport and it's happening in Lincolnshire, we're here for it. We'll talk about it, get in touch, and we'll get you on. Here's our mate George Ezra. Here comes Green Green Grass at BBC Radio Lincolnshire.